Tell you about my favorite hero.
My hero, Zero. Such a funny little hero, but till you came along, we counted on our fingers and toes. Now you're here to stay, and nobody really knows how wonderful you are. Why we could never reach a star without you, Zero, my hero. How wonderful you are.
Studies conducted by the Third International Mathematics and Science Study show that other countries outperform the United States in math. As you can see from this chart, the United States ranks 28 among the 41 nations that participated. The U.S. 8th grade mathematics curriculum is at a 7th grade level in comparison to other countries. This means that students in other countries are often exposed to higher levels of math at early grade levels. Therefore, ELs also come to the United States with two strengths: mathematical skills and their first language. It is imperative to assess English language learners in the math content area in order to provide them with adequate placement. Our fellow classmate Karina shares her placement experience in the United States.
Well, I came to the U.S. when I was in high school, a junior, and well, the first time when I got here, they made me this assessment. They placed me in an English, like that assessment was for English, but then they also placed me in like a remedial mathematics class, which was like pre-algebra. Okay. And I remember that when I was in that class, it was so boring because I had taken already like advanced algebra in Mexico. And all we did was add, subtract, multiply, things like that that were not helpful at all. So I asked the people in the offices, I'm like, oh, can I change my class because this is so easy? And I was fortunate that they had a regular algebra class that was taught in Spanish, so they were able to place me in that class instead of the pre-algebra class.
Oh, that's great. And now, how did they place you in this pre-algebra class? Did they assess you? Did they do any assessments?
Actually, no. I just told them that the class that I had was too easy, so they changed me to that.
So why did they place you in pre-algebra? Is there a reason why you think they placed you there without assessing?
I think that they placed me in that class because I didn't know English, so they presumed that I didn't know math. Just a simple fact that I didn't know English. So.
Karina's case is a perfect example of the inadequate assessment that often occurs in our schools. The assumption in our schools is that because students' English proficiency is weak, they should be placed in easier to handle mathematics. This means that for ELs, there is an assumption that higher level math cannot be achieved without mastering the English language. Most ELs are placed in newcomer classes where English is taught for 1 year, often denying them access to the rest of the curriculum, including math. Jim Cummins and James Crawford's research show that skills in content areas like mathematics, once learned in the first language, are retained when instruction shifts to the second language. According to Jim Cummins, educators assume roles that benefit or hinder minority students. These roles include cultural linguistic incorporation and assessment. With regards to assessment, teachers can take on advocacy roles that will make a difference in the placement of their students. These initial placements are extremely important as it tends to follow students for the rest of their academic lives. The following are recommendations for adequately assessing ELs. Schools should make efforts to assess students' content knowledge and abilities in English as well as their native language. Without assessment in the student's native language, educators can easily underestimate what students can do in the content areas. CALP is used to refer to the dimensions of language needed for literacy skills. In other words, it is the academic language that ELs need to perform well on standardized tests, which are typically given to students for placement purposes upon entering schools. Research shows that CALP can take from 5 to 7 years to develop, provided that they have strong literacy skills in their first language. This finding has important implications for placing ELs in mathematics. When a test written in English is administered to place ELs in math, there should be a translator available so that test scores reflect what the student truly knows about the content area, especially when there are word problems or directions written in English. Educators should seek information that goes beyond the survey and a test score to ensure adequate placements. It is also important to take students' backgrounds into consideration, including educational experiences and parents' literacy, in order to provide a comprehensive analysis of assessment. As future educators, we should value the phantom knowledge of our English language learners and build upon their zone of proximal development.